Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you yet again another favorite heroes segment right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly, as always, here to bring you the latest in this week's favorite hero video segment. And what an upset this week. You know, last week's videos were my favorite hero, favorite villains from Supernatural, and if you guys remember, there was a battle in the comment section between the Supernatural series and the Kingdom Hearts series. So, when Supernatural pulled an upset last week, I just figured, okay, Kingdom Hearts for this week, right? Apparently not. This request comes from Afro Ninja 0077. He requested the X-Men series, and then what an upset. X-Men won with 22 votes to Kingdom Hearts 17. So it was fairly close, but man, they just pulled away. And so when I saw the request, I was like, oh hell yeah, I would love to talk about my favorite hero and favorite villain from the X-Men series. And with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump into this video. Just as the title suggests, this video is dedicated to my man James Howlett, aka Logan, but known to the world, throughout the world, as the Wolverine. And yes, say what you will about, oh Larry, you picked Wolverine, that's so cliche. No, okay. This is my favorite hero video for the X-Men series. I've been a fan of Wolverine since for as long as I can remember. Since I was yay tall. And you guys don't know how tall this is, but this is really short. Okay, I've been a fan of Wolverine, like I said, it's for as long as I can remember. So let's just get into a brief history about this character. Okay, now there are multiple origin stories for the character of Wolverine. Matter of fact, I believe last time I checked there were about 3 different origin stories. I'm going with the story that most of the general population know of, and it's the story that's also depicted in the X-Men animated TV series, X-Men Evolution, and the first 2 X-Men films. And that is that Wolverine, aka Logan, was born James Howlett in British Columbia, Canada, in, I want to say, the late 1800s, about 1880, 1890. And his mutant power from Jump Street, before all this other bullshit popped up, Wolverine's mutant power from Jump Street was always his regenerative ability. He has the ability to regenerate himself from practically any type of injury, okay? And because of that, that also gives him a type of, you can call it a type of immortality, because Wolverine doesn't age like other people. He ages extremely slowly, okay? But that was Wolverine's power from Jump, okay? Now, Wolverine throughout his life, as we know, he served with the Canadian Special Forces during World War II, and that's where he met Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. And it was during that time that he built, you know, a friendship, a trust, and a loyalty for the man, which we saw that full-fledged in the Civil War event that Marvel released a couple of years ago. And then, somewhere along the line, Wolverine signed up for what was called the Weapon X program. And what the Weapon X program initially did was, it took mutants with that same regenerative type ability, and it weaponized them. It gave them these special powers and these special gifts to turn them into mutant hunting weapons. Wolverine's was his adamantium skeleton, and of course his trademark claws. Now, with that said, there are multiple things that occurred, you know, after the Weapon X program. Such as, you know, Wolverine leaving the Weapon X program, having his memory erased, all that jazz. But there are also certain things that were written into the character after he received his adamantium skeleton, such as one story depicts Wolverine as being poisoned by his adamantium skeleton, because in the story arc in which Magneto strips away Wolverine's adamantium, and that's when we get introduced to the Bone Claw Wolverine, his regenerative power goes through the fucking roof. Okay, like he is able to regenerate at an unprecedented rate once his adamantium skeleton is gone. Another thing he acquires from having, you know, the adamantium removed is he's not as heavy. So he becomes excruciatingly light, which makes him very aerial. We start seeing Wolverine do all these aerial attacks and shit like that. Now Wolverine, the character in himself, okay, his publication history, Wolverine first appeared, and I want to say the early to mid 1970s, in a copy of an issue of the Hulk, because Wolverine initially was an assassin type character hired by a government agency, which later was written into the storylines as being S.H.I.E.L.D., sent to go and assassinate the Hulk. And after the characters started to show a little bit popularity and good reception, they went ahead and they made him a member of the X-Men. But funny enough, the X-Men had been around for quite a few years before Wolverine came onto the scene, yet Wolverine is one of the popular, if not the most popular X-Men character. That's just a funny little tidbit that's worth noting. But with that said, why do I like the character of Wolverine so fucking much? Okay, first of all, like I said, personal history with the character. Like I said, I've been a fan of Wolverine since I was a little boy. I remember running around the house. I hate to admit this, but the funny thing I used to do, when I was little, I used to take butter knives, right? And I would, you know, stick them in between my knuckles, you know, to make the claws and shit like that. And I even remember, I think I was like 7 or 8 or so, and I actually made a Wolverine costume. I had I drew, colored, cut out my own mask, you know, attached it and whatnot. Put together the little outfit through, you know, clothes I had, cut them up, stitched them together, shit like that. Because I used to do all that shit when I was little, man. Oh, man, yeah, I remember that. I remember the action figures I got, man. Like, I had anybody who remembers when X-Men Evolution came out, about 2 years after they came out with the line of X-Men Evolution action figures, and there were 3 in particular. There were Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Cyclops. They were voice activated. I had all 3 of them. But Wolverine was hands down my favorite, man. And then, of course, you know, when the movies came out, like the first film, I remember going to see the first film on my birthday, matter of fact, June 20th of 2000. Went to theaters, go see the first film. Loved it. Loved Hugh Jackman's portrayal of the character, even though Hugh Jackman gets shit about, oh, he's too tall or he's not big enough to play Wolverine. Man, fuck that noise. Hugh Jackman did a bang-up job. Matter of fact, the first 2, funny enough, the first 2 X-Men, these are the only DVDs that I actually own, because the third one was shit. X-Men Origins Wolverine did not do the character justice, and I will actually pick up First Class when it comes out, in which Wolverine made a cameo in that film. But yes, fucking love these movies. Both of these movies, well, this one was a gift that I got a couple of years ago from my man Bryce, because he knew I was a huge fan of the series. But this one, I remember I saved up I went and saw X2 opening day. That was that was May 3rd, 2003. I believe it was. Either May 3rd or May 2nd. Opening day, went and saw it, and the DVD was released right before Thanksgiving in 2003, and I remember saving up my allowance to pick this up, man. That's how old this is. This is the original. This is one of the first copies of the original DVD that was released for the film. Still have it. But yeah, so Huge fan of the character. Huge fan of the character. And of course, you know, okay, so getting into the character of Wolverine himself, like I said, a lot of people will probably say, oh, it's so cliche, you know, everyone likes Wolverine, he's oversaturated, he's everywhere. Okay, yeah, we know. Wolverine is the most popular X-Men character. Okay, we understand that. And yes, he is oversaturated. Yes, he is everywhere. You know, Wolverine has, I don't know how many books they've released for this character outside of the X-Men series. But why do I like him? I'm going to tell you why I like Wolverine. I like Wolverine because, number one, he's a badass. And when I say badass, I'm not talking about that Wolverine is so overpowered. No. Being a badass does not mean you're overpowered. If I was to sit here and count all of the characters in the Marvel Universe that are stronger than Wolverine, their number is legion. Okay? But Wolverine has gone toe-to-toe with some of the biggest and baddest fucking characters in the Marvel Universe. I don't fucking around and say DC. In the Marvel Universe, he's gone up against some of the baddest. I don't know how many times Wolverine has gone toe-to-toe with Magneto, despite the fact, knowing that Magneto has the ability to toss him around a room like a rag doll. Wolverine does not give a shit. Wolverine, for all intents and purposes, is just like the fucking Wolverine animal. He doesn't give a fuck how big or how small his opponent is, okay? He could be going up against somebody 10 times his size and 10 times his power. He does not fucking give a damn. He going in balls to the fucking wall. Man to man, head up. That's why I like fucking Wolverine. Wolverine is also, well, yeah, he is also my favorite character in the Marvel vs. Capcom series because I'm a huge fan of that franchise. And you know what's funny? I always put Wolverine on my party. And all of my friends, they act like such little bitches when they see me pull Wolverine out. Why? Because they know if I'm getting Wolverine, I'm going in. I'm close up, man to man, right here. I'm going in with Wolverine, man. They know it. And I can do damage with that motherfucker. So that's why I love Wolverine. He's just a badass fucking character. Another reason I like Wolverine, and this came up when Civil War was published. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, you know, we know that Wolverine had a friendship with Captain America because, you know, they were boys back in World War II. I didn't know that until I saw the episode of X-Men Evolution where they did the Captain America episode. But in Civil War, when they killed Cap, Wolverine was like he went all fucking out. He was like the banner waving, like, they killed my man Cap. You know, they killed my nigga Steve, man. He was like, they killed my nigga Steve. Fuck that, we going ham on these niggas. And I loved Wolverine so much for that. That sense of loyalty, I ingrained into my DNA, and I made that a part of me, myself, you know, my personality. Because, you know, my best friends will tell you, there have been multiple times where I've clashed with, you know, my friends in real life, and everyone does it every now and then. Me, I do it a little bit more often than normal. But with that said, you know, if you were to talk to some of my best friends, you know, talk to my man Chris, talk to my man Bryce, my homeboy Courtney, shout out to him. I know he watches my vids all the time. You know, they'll tell you, one thing you can't lie about is my sense of loyalty. Because I'm loyal to my friends to the grave, okay? And Wolverine is a character that's an example of that idea and of that mentality and of that attitude, because he's the same way. He is a die-hard loyal to his friends. And if you, oh my God, if you fuck with his people, he will make your life a living hell. Honestly. Matter of fact, you know, that reminds me, Wolverine has one of my favorite phrases one of my favorite catchphrases, period. And it's, I'm the best I am at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice. Love that catchphrase. I'm the best I am at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice. That's fucking Wolverine, okay? And then, of course, there are also the aspects of his personality, you know, the softer sides of him that I really like, you know. In the comic books, in a few of the animated series, and then they adapted it into the film also, Wolverine has this type of big brother, little sister, or father-daughter-esque relationships with a lot of the female members of the X-Men team. Because in the comics, it's multiple characters, but in a few selected media, it seems like the role he plays, like these relationships have been adapted into many different forms of the media. In the 90s animated series, he had, you know, we saw that relationship with Jubilee. In Evolution, we saw it with Kitty Pryde. In Wolverine and the X-Men, and in the live action film series, we saw it with Rogue. But what I'm saying is he has that relationship with all those characters in the comics. Matter of fact, I even think, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on this, but I know that Wolverine makes an appearance in one of the Runaway books, and I think he does the same thing with one of the members of the Runaways, like one of the female characters he befriends, and you know, he has that same type of relationship. Oh, X-23, his clone. I mean, shit, for all intents and purposes, it is his daughter. Same thing, another character where he has that type of relationship with. And that's really cool because it shows that, yes, he does have a softer side. It shows his feminine side, but it also shows that protective nature that he has. That it's funny, but Wolverine does have both a nurturing and a protective nature, you know, and it's a nice compliment to his hard shell, that hard persona that he portrays so often. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's gonna do it for this video dedicated to my man, the Wolverine. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Thanks for joining me again this week. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my favorite villains video for the X-Men series. And I also have my anime favorite for the month of August, Yu Yu Hakusho. I know you guys have been asking for, a Yu Yu Hakusho review, but you've also been asking for a favorite hero's favorite villain for Yu Yu Hakusho. The reason why I haven't done that yet is not just because of the votes. It's because I'm going to discuss my favorite hero, favorite villains in my anime favorites video for Yu Yu Hakusho. So technically, you get a 2-for-1 deal this week. You get favorite hero, favorite villains for X-Men, and you get favorite hero, favorite villains for Yu Yu Hakusho. But you'll have to watch the anime favorites Yu Yu Hakusho vid in order to see it. And with that said, I might even have a special video coming out later into the week. I'm not sure yet, but there might be another video coming out. Also, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to let you guys know I'm going to be doing a blog TV tonight, which is Saturday, August 13th, 2011, just so you guys know. But I'm also going to be doing a blog TV tonight, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 o'clock in the mountain area, 5 o'clock on the West Coast, and I believe that's 1 a.m. in the UK. But hey, it's Saturday night, so stay up with your boy and join me on there. We're just going to be kicking it. But with that said, this is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I am signing off, and I'll catch you cats later. Peace.